Today I'm going to share with you 5 productivity tips to do data quality work in Excel. When I found out about this tip, I thought to myself, what? You can actually do this in Excel? And you know what? Baby Yoda would appreciate it as well. Let's get to it. So here's the truth. Should we be doing this in Excel? Should we be doing data quality work in Excel? Should we improve the data quality in Excel? Ideally not. Ideally we would have dedicated tools. And I've mentioned this in another Excel video. But the reality is, the truth is, we can't really get away from Excel. And also some of us don't have the budget for those dedicated data quality, data profiling tools. So you got to work with what you have. And if what you have is Excel, might as well learn how to use it in a very productive fashion. So let's see what these 5 productivity tips are. Now for this first tip, let's look at this particular data. And this is a sample data on the average temperatures, wind speed, and precipitation on every single day for last year, 2020. And I'll let you guess, where in the world do you think this is from? So here's a quick data quality productivity tip. Have you ever noticed or used this bar at the bottom? So as you might have noticed, whenever you do select any cells that has some sort of data in it, this bar displays some interesting information. It's usually the average, count, and sum. Not very useful, especially if you do have dates in here. Doesn't really give us any useful things. But sometimes if you do select an entire column, especially one that has numbers in it, it might give you some interesting things. So for example, in here, we see the average wind speed, 44 kilometers per hour. That's, sounds about reasonable. Precipitation though, average 44 centimeters. That's definitely a lot. How much centimeters into inches? 17 inches. So that's a lot of rain. Something must be wrong with this. So we already know that there's some sort of a data quality issue in one of the cells. But here's the tip though. That's not the tip. Here's the tip. Did you know that you could actually customize? And I'm putting this because there's so much you can do with that. But you can actually customize this tooltip bar. What? I know, when I found out, I was, what? And I'm telling you again right now, what? Yes, I was shocked. I wonder if you are too. Please let me know. Put in the comments below if you did know about this feature. But basically, you can right-click anywhere on the bar, right-click, and this comes up with all these different options that you can choose to have it displayed in the bar. One thing it doesn't have is these ones. Whoops. Which I think is really, really useful to have. So minimum, maximum, and the count numeric. The count, and by the way, how that differs is the count just counts every cell that is occupied by a value, and the count numeric only counts those that have a numeric value in them. So it's useful especially if you do have headers, such as in this one on the first row. If we select the entire column, we know the count is 366, so there are 366 cells. But if we look at the count numeric, there's only 365 rows that have numbers populated in them. Now here's another interesting thing, the maximum and the minimum. The maximum, 15,000. That's obviously an issue. It should probably be 15.00. So we know that's a data quality issue. Wind speed, minimum, maximum, I don't know, 90 kilometers per hour. That sounds about okay. And temperature, the maximum is 60. Okay, that's definitely another issue. A minimum, a negative 17, that can be a little bit low as well. So the maximum here that we can see for the temperature in Celsius is 60 degrees. And for my American friends, that's very hot. That's actually about 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That's scorching hot. That's way too much. So that's another data quality issue. Negative 17, it's probably an extreme, too much of an extreme, and that could also point us to a data quality problem. Now, this is very, very high level data profiling here, and I do actually have another video that shows how you could use Excel to do some further data profiling. So do check out this video. It comes up with some really out of the box features that you didn't even know that you had at your fingertips. And again, yes, you do want to use a dedicated data profiling tool, but for those of us that don't have one, you could actually use Excel in a very okay fashion. So that's the first tip. Let's move on to the next one. And for the next tip, I want to showcase some shortcuts. That would be great to know. And these shortcuts will really save you some time. So let's go over the first one. And the first one is Control and then arrow. Any arrow, up, down, left, and right. What does this do? Let's hit the Control right arrow. Now if we do this, Control right arrow, it will jump to the edge of a contiguous range. Yep, you heard it right. Contiguous range. That's your word for the day. And what it really means is that it will jump to the edge, to the end of a selection of a row or a column that doesn't have any blanks in between. So where this is helpful for rows, especially if you have a lot of columns, you want to go all the way to the end, just click Control and the right arrow will take us all the way to the end. And if you're on a Mac, just replace the Control function with the Command function instead. Same can go in reverse, and we can go all the way to the A column by going Control and left arrow. And of course, we can do the same thing by going down, Control down arrow, Control up arrow. But here's what happens if you do have some empty cells in that range. And we can see it in the column B for middle name. Not everybody does have a middle name. So the Control down is not going to go all the way to, what was it, line 4442. It would actually just go all the way to the end of that range until it does encounter a blank. If you hit it again, it will jump over all the blanks to the next occupied cell, and then to the end of that range, and so forth and so on. So again, where this is helpful is especially if you do have a lot of columns, it's helpful to just go Control right key or Control left key to step all the way to the beginning. Now along the same line, what's even more helpful is clicking Control End, and that goes all the way to the bottom right of this range of your table in Excel. And in reverse, if you want to go to the A1, Control Home. So Control N takes us all the way to the bottom right, and Control Home takes us all the way to the top left. Again, I do find this to be quite useful. I'll throw another wrench in here. If you want to do a selection, so if you want to do the same thing, Control right, Control left, but use a selection, so select the cells at the same time, you can click Shift. You can throw Shift into the mix. So Control Shift right does that. Control Shift End selects everything, and then we just go back at the top. Control Home. Easy. So I do hope this is helpful. Along the same lines, I want to throw to you part of the same tip, I guess, on shortcuts, another idea. Have you ever used Alt? If you click Alt in Excel, we can see now how it highlights at the top. It gives us all these options. So if you want to go to, let's say we want to apply the filter to this entire table, we could obviously do it by selecting it, going on to the Data tab here and selecting Filter, and that does it. It's simple as that. But you could also use a shortcut. So we could do, let's step on the Home tab instead. We can press the Alt button, and then we select A for the Data tab. And now we select, let's see, T for Filter. And it does the same thing. Now, if you're on a Mac, unfortunately, the Alt shortcuts don't work. They do not exist. What are you going to do? As you can see, there's so many shortcuts to choose from. And I would not expect you to memorize them all. That would be insane. That would be crazy. If you are memorizing them, you got to do a video about it. You got to let me know in the comments below. What I recommend is maybe just think of what functions are you using the most? What functionalities are you using the most often? And for me, it's really adding that filter. Every time I have a new table, I'm adding that filter in. So it's very convenient for me to really memorize the Alt-AT, and it does that automatically. And it's a lot easier than for me going onto the Data tab and selecting Filter. Kind of similar to how you're now used to Control C for copy, Control V for paste. It's so much easier, right, to do Control C for copy, Control V for paste, and really going onto the Home tab and selecting paste and copy from here. In a similar fashion, just learn the shortcuts for the functions that you are using often. Hey, if you're enjoying the video so far, please hit that like button. It will really help me out. And if you have time, please also leave a comment. I would really appreciate it. And you know what? Baby Yoda would appreciate it as well. No, I'm not trying to guilt trip you into commenting. Off to the next tip. Have you ever worked with an Excel spreadsheet that comes with data looking kind of like this? You have all these different blank rows in between, very random. It kind of all depends on how you're getting this data in the first place, and sometimes it looks like this is very spotty, and then it becomes very hard to work with. And so you would want to remove these blank rows. How do you do that? Well, obviously you can also apply a filter, play with it like that, but it doesn't always work very well. Sometimes things are missed depending how the spreadsheet is being formatted, depending how people are submitting that data to you, and you're just dealing with the repercussions and the aftermath. So here's a really quick way on how you could really get rid of those blank rows. So in order to just select everything that is blank in here, just go to the Home tab, find and select, and go to. And this will open the go to panel here. Or another shortcut for you is just using Control G. That does the same thing a lot quicker. And under here, just clicking on Special, it allows us to select everything that is blank. Selecting it here, clicking OK, that selects all these blank rows, and then all we have to do, just click on Delete. Or again, another shortcut for you, Control minus. And it will ask us if we want to shift the cells up, and yes, we do. It does the same thing. Easy peasy. And now all the blank rows have been removed. So hopefully this will save you quite a bit of hassle and time. For the next productivity tip, let's see how we could really compare some documents. And this is really an easy thing to do. Let's compare this one sheet with another spreadsheet that I have saved in here. Let's see. All we have to do is click on the View tab and go View Side by Side. What are we going to view side by side? We're going to view this one spreadsheet with the sync scrolling. I called it. There you go. If this doesn't come to you right away, if you do have a dual screen like I do, so for example, initially it's on a different screen here, that's fine. All you have to do is make sure that the Arrange All here is vertical, and it will arrange it automatically. Now the cool thing is, if you have this enabled, it's called Synchronous Scrolling. If this is enabled, and it has to be grayed out in order to be enabled, as you're scrolling on the left, the right also scrolls with it at the same time. So this is really good to kind of eyeball things, spot check different versions maybe of the same document, kind of see where the difference is. It doesn't really work when you have a lot of data that you want to compare. I'm actually going to do another video on how you can check the differences between values, between different sheets, between different spreadsheets. So please watch out for that video. When it will come up, here or here somewhere. You'll see a tooltip at the top. But this feature really works well if you want to just kind of eyeball things. So really quickly, for example, I'm noticing there's a difference in data in the temperature, 7.22, and on the right we see 17.22. That's a pretty obvious difference that I can spot right away, and maybe that's a data quality issue that was corrected at one point between the two versions of the same document. For my last tip, I want to show you how you can quickly extract the unique values out of a column. And I'm sure that you're working with data kind of like this. It could be type of products, it could be types of customers, or it could be different states like this one. And you want to really see how many unique values do you have in one column. You might be tempted to use the remove duplicates option here, but the reality is that this will do it in place. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to overwrite this data. It's good the way it is. So here's a really quick way of doing it. Select the column that you want to extract the unique values from. Go to the Data tab here, click on Advanced, copy to another location. We already have the list range selected. That's the column C. And what we're going to tell it is copy the unique values to, I guess, the column H. That works. The key here is to make sure that you're selecting unique records only. And as soon as we do that, it will only extract the unique records of column C, in our case, the states. And doing a quick selection, we can see at the bottom here that the count is 48. So there are 47 different states that we have in this data set. Easy peasy. So that's all the 5 productivity tips for doing data quality in Excel. If you've enjoyed the video, if you did find it helpful, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to not miss out on future content. Thank you.